Hi, and welcome to Publishing Power. This is Joellen, and I am so glad to have you here today. We're continuing our series on what are the different levels of editing so that everyone can answer those questions in their mind and seek the right assistance when they need it. Right today, I'd like to talk about line editing. We have three types of editing. There's content, copy, and line editing. So today we're going to dig deep into that. So first, we're going to talk about the 10 steps of successful line editing. And first, of course, we need to evaluate what it is that your manuscript needs. And that allows you to get the best price because you'll know that you're investing in the right area and someone who specializes exactly in your genre. You also need to understand exactly what you're going to get from a line editor versus a content or a copy editor. That's very important because they do different jobs and they specialize in them specifically. So you want to learn who's qualified and who you can trust for that line editing. And of course, this is going to help you discover the best price. I encourage you to go out there, shop around, find somebody who you feel comfortable with and do it that way. And lastly, you need to decide when you should start because there are different areas that you can start, but line editing is a little bit more specific. Of course, you're going to explore the line editing services that you need. And again, you're allowed to tell your editor exactly what you think you need, and they're going to provide you a professional recommendation of what they feel you need, or what they know you need, I should say. And again, of course, learn where you can use online tools to get you to a better position and save you time and money. We're going to talk about when it's necessary, the line editing, and of course, how it helps you reach your goals overall in your writing process. So backing up once again, it always starts with self-editing. And self-editing is your ability to go through and make as many adjustments and corrections before you send it off or seek professional editing services. By doing that, you save time and money and frustration. One of the great online writing tools that I recommend is ProWriting Aid. They do copy editing and they have different plugins and extensions, and they're free, and you should check them out. And of course, when you get the time, upgrade to the premium level. And this applies for fiction, nonfiction, academic, all of the different areas of writing and the genres there. So all of this will help you create a strong manuscript. If you'd like some more information, we do have the ebook, Your Editing Journey, which goes a little bit more into that, and you can get that from us. So the 10 steps for successful line editing. Let's start there. How are you going to evaluate what your current manuscript needs? Well, you need to look at the copy editor, the line editor, and the content editor. Last week, we talked about the content editor, which is your developmental, substantial, or story editing, who does all the structural editing of your book. That's the high level. It's the very beginning. When you get to line editing, you're going to start comparing, and you're going to look at the difference there. That's really the next step. This is the one that when you feel you're no longer making any major changes and you're trying to get the editing correct, this is when your professor or your agent or your friends or whoever's advising you, your coach, your book coach, says you need professional editing. Most of the time, you're coming in for a line edit, not a copy edit, a line edit, which allows us to go through on the very first major revision and seek through that and look to see where you stand in your writing abilities and the presentation, the voice you're using, things like that. So compare the editing services and decide, if it's developmental structural, you may want to back up to phase 1 if you're not yet there. But when you're ready for phase 2 and it's part of your first revisions with no major changes to the actual structure, then you're ready for line editing, and that is again followed by the third phase of copy editing. So developmental editing for those, or line editing, I should say, line editing is for those who have, it applies for everyone. For those who are panters, who think that they're writing by the seat of the pants, and those who are great outliners, it makes no difference. But again, it helps you to figure out. So line editing is for making revisions. It's the first stage when you're looking at it and you're looking at line by line. Does the subject-verb agreement? Do we have the point of view? Is that being followed again and again? Is it consistent? When you go from one paragraph to the next, is it making transitions which are coherent? Are we maintaining our voice? Are we engaging the writer? Those kind of things. So a copy edit, of course, is the final edit before formatting, and I prefer that you perform it from a different editor than your line editor. So And of course, everyone asks about proofreading. We'll cover that one more time. Proofreading is after formatting. So it's not really editing, it's part of the final production there. So how can you get the best price and find a qualified line editor? Well, you're going to find someone who specializes in your genre. Specifically, if you are in nonfiction and academic, those are very, very specific to your subject matter. And then with fiction editing, you want to make sure that they're in your genre, science fiction versus children's story versus poetry, all those different areas. Again, make sure that they're writing your memoirs so that you have someone who's familiar with successfully publishing those types of books. A particular editor, a line editor, will have advanced training and education in writing. They'll have experience with proven successful publishing, and you should ask to see that. And they should come vetted and recommended. They should really be able to address everything that you need. So again, editing is a process. You're going to rewrite, and rewrite again and again. So make sure you follow the words of those who are bestseller authors out there, such as Malcolm Gladwell, and find out how you too can become a successfully published author. So compare the editors and what they can do for you. The line editors maintain and improve your voice. By this point, you've got your story, you know what's happening, but you're going to go ahead and figure out how to maintain your voice. Just to briefly review here, go look through the content editing. If you need help with the thoughts, ideas, and statements, then you're not yet ready for the line editing. If you're still doing the structural adjustments, line editing is going to focus on the cohesiveness of the overall presentation and make sure that your skills, the grammar, the spelling, the punctuation are all in line there. So line editors, again, they're going to look at your readability, the ability for your reader to be engaged and understand and follow along and stay engaged, because isn't that the most important part, to engage a relationship with them through the words that you're writing and creating. Line editing, again, is most commonly recommended by the agents and professors prior to submitting. So I do encourage you to always come in with the basic idea of requesting a line edit. And then if the editor recommends something higher or lower, they'll tell you exactly what you need, the editors that you can trust. Copy editing, again, is that final technical review. Sometimes we use the words interchangeably. We say, I just need a copy edit, when in fact you need much more. So again, make sure you ask. That's why we're doing this little educational series right now, to let you understand and use the correct terms that you need to get what you want. So understand what you get from your line editor. They're going to deal with the continuity, the flow. They're going to deal with the verb and tense and the correction of your presentation. They're going to make sure your point of view is staying on task there. It doesn't include the structure, the outline, and the development. At this point, they're looking grammar, spelling, punctuation in a higher level, along with the flow and continuity and the cohesiveness there. So it's a lot of help during your revisionary stage. You can do a couple revisions in line editing, but of course you want to be careful there. It's ideal to hire a different copy editor once you finish with the line edit. And again, editing is not linear. It's quite circular in the sense that you go forward and back and forth on what you need and what you're doing here. If you take a look at the graph we have on the screen, you'll notice that you might start with a higher level story edit, such as Fictionary provides, and then work with us as editing to do both the content line and then go back to the copy editing. And of course, the pre-approval, the pre-preparation that you're doing is, of course, the copy editing. And again, I do recommend ProWriting Aid there. So who is qualified and who can you trust for line editing? Well, they're neutral experts who are going to give you a very honest evaluation of your writing skills, and they're going to give you some strong feedback. It's not going to be your mom, your best friend, your colleagues who really honestly can't look you in the eyes and say what you need to hear to become a better writer. You need somebody who is professional, who's going to give you experience and a perspective from that experience. So again, make sure that you hire someone that you feel has the experience, has the skills, and has the honesty and the professionalism to help you become better. So what can you expect from them? You're going to you should be able to get a sample. You should always be able to try before you buy. I encourage you, at First Editing, we do that, send it in and they will evaluate your document and make sure that it is prepared and that you know what you need and they can see that they can provide exactly what you need. You want to be able to ask for their resume / history of successes. And, now that most things are online, you can see a large portion of libraries out there of who they have helped successfully publish. And that's important. They're going to confirm what you want, and then they're going to tell you what you need. And that's the most important thing. Please do not disregard the editor's recommendations and suggestions. That is what you need. And the best editors will serve you no less than what you need, because it makes them look bad and it doesn't provide you what you want, which makes you look bad. So again, take those recommendations seriously and consider those in all the best efforts to help you become what you want to do as a successfully published author. Set a reasonable timeline and they're going to tell you what's happening there. And then if you have any questions or errors afterwards, again, these are humans. If you find something that you don't understand or you don't agree with, then the editor should be able to confidently tell you how we're going to deal with that afterwards. So what determines the price and how much does good editing cost? Well, it's based upon your needs and where you are in the writing process and basically what your desires are. Some authors have extra requests, formatting, they have style guides that they need to match, they have unique challenges that they're overcoming. Perhaps they have clutch words where they get stuck again and again and again. They might be repetitive, they might need better transitions, they're worried about a flow. Those kind of requests are all highly encouraged. Submit those to your editor and they will review that, look at that, and determine how they can best assist you. So again, do you need a consultation or evaluation? Again, just ask for it and they'll tell you exactly where they are. And they'll also probably be able to tell you if there's going to be multiple revisions. Quite often that's dependent upon you, if you're highly engaged in doing a lot of work or if you're just really trying to get it out the door. So that's very important to look at. When should you start with a line editor? Well, when you have fully outlined and self-edited manuscript, not before then. You should have been already through the content structural outline development stage, and now you're going into the line editing. You're going to ask for some professional help, and sometimes you just had enough, you just need to pass it off, and that's totally respectable because you do need to take a break from your writing. And of course, we always recommend professional editing before you distribute or share with others. Anytime you're going to submit it publicly, you need to have had somebody to review it quickly for you. So what services do you need from line editing? When you want to make sure that your writing needs match the genre, you're going to make sure that they look at your point of view, your subject-verb agreement, the grammar, punctuation, making sure you have clarity and you're using all those great transitions. You've got some questions and instructions there. And of course, when you want to get a little bit more of evaluations there, that's always good because the editor can provide you more guidance. And editing really is a learning process. And that's the fantastic part is not only do you get a better manuscript, but you get a better perspective on yourself and how your writing is developing and where you're growing and what you can do in the future to become better and better. So again, before you come in, I do recommend that you do some self-editing. So go online. There's lots of tools out there. There's groups and forums that you can join and books and blogs and courses. I do recommend that you pick a maximum of 2, maybe 3, but don't overwhelm yourself. There's so many people out there with opinions and recommendations nowadays that you really just need to find 1 or 2 and stick to it. Otherwise, you will get exhausted and it can be overwhelming. Why do you need professional line editing? Well, it's your investment. It's your baby. You've been developing this book, this novel, this genre, this proposal for so long. It's time for you to make sure that it is ready for the public. And it's your reputation on the line. It's your very first impression with all of your readers and the agents and anybody else that you're submitting to. So you need to make sure that you make the best first impression. And that's very important because overall, we're trying to get you published. And that is your ultimate goal there. And a lot of those goals is all about becoming the successfully published author that you imagine. And again, stick with that. So you want to can tell your story cohesively. We're going to help you do that as editors, going to motivate, inspire. You're going to become published. And of course, that's a life goal that many people have there. I want to be a published author. And there's recognition and status, and good on you, because that's a very great aspiration in life. It'll help you sell more books, because you really don't want to have anybody saying that, this, I can read it, there were so many mistakes. You want to make sure that you don't get those, that they're actually listening to your ideas instead of your words and problems there. And it helps you establish credibility there. So check out Professional Line Editing. It's going to help you with your presentation. It's going to get your ideas clearly conveyed. It's going to confirm all of your skills, be them fully developed or what you need to develop more. And you're going to successfully collaborate with an editor who can help you become the best that you can be there. So again, stick with that. I do recommend you get a free editing sample before you start. First Editing provides those. If you'd like to contact us, please do. If not, best of luck out there. And again, just make sure you find a professional that you trust and that you enjoy working with, because your first step, again, will be repeated again and again on much more successfully published books in the future. All the best to you. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, and I look forward to assisting you on not only your editing advice, but all of the publishing services that are available. And stay tuned. We will have more professionals in the publishing industry visiting us on Publishing Power.